Welcome back for Horror Seekers. For those that are just joining us, you have found your way to Whispering Shadows, where each week we bring you another bone-chilling story about what true nightmares are made of. Our story this week is called The Tooth Fairy's Revenge. They say the Tooth Fairy is female, but the creature that came for Billy was most certainly male. He was only 7 years old, but he knew what male meant. It meant scary. The night before, he'd left his tooth under his pillow. It was his first tooth, a baby tooth from the front bottom left of his mouth. That morning, he'd woken up to find it was gone, and in its place was a small velvet pouch. But inside was a single human tooth, long and sharp, and stained a deep crimson red. Prue, it looked like a canine tooth, bigger than any tooth he'd ever seen, and it was covered in blood. His mom said it must have been a baby tooth from one of the kids at school. She didn't believe in the Tooth Fairy, not anymore, and she told him to get over it. Stop being such a baby. But that night, when he went to bed, he hid his head under his pillow. He was too scared to go to sleep. Then he started crying because he didn't want the Tooth Fairy to come back. Pierre, he wanted his old baby tooth back. He cried himself to sleep, only to wake up to a voice by his ear saying, "Give me another." B shot up in bed, heart pounding, and looked around. There was no one there. No one had come into his room. His door was locked. His window was shut tight. And yet he'd heard a voice, raspy and dry like dead leaves, and it had come from right here. Then he felt something wet trickle down his cheek. Pff. He put a hand to his face and pulled it away, slowly. It was sticky and warm. Blood, another tooth. Had the Tooth Fairy come back? Why was it taking his teeth? Was it some kind of sick joke? His mom told him to stop being ridiculous. Another tooth wouldn't grow back in its place for a week or more. But then, 2 days later, he woke up to the same voice, whispering, "Give me another." It was coming from under his pillow. Pierre took the pillowcase off and found another tooth. That night, he called his mom, who slept in the next room. He told her about the voice, but she just told him to stop making stuff up and hung up on him. He was all alone. The Tooth Fairy wasn't coming for his teeth. He was losing his teeth. One by one, they were all taken away in the night. It started again that very night. Pooh, the voice demanding another tooth. He could hear it moving around in the darkness, rustling, shuffling. Whatever it was, it sounded big and mean and angry. Each night it would come, for him whispering, "Give me another." And each morning he would wake up to find a new tooth in his mouth. They came from underneath his pillow, but he never saw the Tooth Fairy. What he did see, though, was that the velvet pouch in which the teeth were left grew bigger every day. By the end of the second week, it was stuffed full of teeth. How many teeth? Well, that's how many teeth Billy had lost. Every tooth in his head was gone, and now the Tooth Fairy was coming for his sister. She took their teeth, too, their baby teeth. P heard them calling out for Mum, for Dad, as the monster took their teeth and vanished into the night. One morning, Billy got up and went to his sister's room. They were still sleeping, but he shook them awake. He told them about the Tooth Fairy, about what was happening. They didn't believe him. Not at first. They thought he was joking. But then they looked under their pillows and found the velvet pouch. There was only one thing to do. They ran to their parents' room and climbed into their bed. Mum and Dad were fast asleep, but the kids shook them awake. They told them what was happening. Dad got up, went to the window and flung it open. But there was nothing out there in the darkness but trees and more trees. You kids are making a lot of noise. Their mother snapped, "Go back to bed." But they all stayed up that night. All 5 of them, huddled together in the middle of the bed. Billy's dad went to the bathroom and turned on the light, but it didn't help. All it did was reveal the pale white shapes of the walls. Nothing was out there in the darkness but shadows. In the morning, Billy's mum went to work, and his dad went to buy some more milk. That was when Billy noticed another tooth under his pillow. It was his front tooth, the one he'd lost last week. It wasn't his tooth. It was the tooth of the monster. If this story kept you on the edge of your seat, you won't want to miss our next episode. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell, so you'll never miss any of our terrifying tales on Whispering Shadows. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay scared, and we'll see you in the next video, if you dare.